In 1997, a landslide struck in the town of Thredbo, New South Wales. 18 people lost their lives. There was one survivor. This was a disaster 40 years in the making, and should never have happened. The landslide occurred along the Alpine Way, which was a temporary road built in the 1950s in order to assist with the construction of the Snowy hydroelectric power scheme. These roads were not designed for the heavy tourist traffic they were later repurposed for. The Alpine Way itself was cut into the side of the slope, and it wasn't reinforced because of the temporary nature of these roads. Since the road was built in the 50s, many landslides had occurred along the Alpine Way leading towards Thredbo. Over 50 landslides had occurred. Many people had been injured in these landslides, but no formal records were made of the landslides along the Alpine Way. In Thredbo village, the Carinya Lodge, the upper of the lodges involved in the landslide, was originally designed and overseen by a manager in the village, who, although trained in civil engineering, had no experience with alpine construction, and, despite known dangers, no soil stability testing was done. In fact, the entire construction of Thredbo village was very haphazard, with no general oversight or planning. A water main had been constructed along the Alpine Way above the Carinya Lodge. It was of a poor quality and had been leaking for some time into the slope above and below the Alpine Way, causing the slope to become very waterlogged and unstable. This left it in a position to be highly prone to landslides. Furthermore, no single government organisation was directly responsible for the maintenance or monitoring of the Alpine Way. Due to the fact that it had been constructed as a temporary road in the 1950s, it was never formally handed over to either the New South Wales Government, the National Parks and Wildlife Service, or Kosciuszko National Park. At 11:30 p.m. on the 30th of July 1997, these factors resulted in the inevitable happening. As the landslide tore down the slope, it first crashed into the poorly designed Carinya Lodge, sweeping it clear off its foundations and carrying it further down the slope. Its foundations still sit on the slope. As the landslide carried it over Bobuck Lane and down towards Bimbaden Lodge, the slabs and material which constructed Carinya Lodge impacted the Bimbaden Lodge, and the collapsing of the buildings, along with the soil, substrate and vegetation that had been carried down the slope from the landslide, combined with the leaking water and melting snow from above the landslide site, caused the entire debris field of the landslide to come to rest in a very unstable and chaotic way, stopping meters from lodges further down the slope. This terrible accident cost the lives of 18 people and could have easily been avoided.